You know, when most people think of the Peanuts gang, they picture the simple joys. Snoopy doing his happy dance, Lucy yanking that football, or Charlie Brown staring existentially at the sky, pondering the futility of life. What people don't picture is a shadowy curse hanging over the kids who voiced those characters. But here we are. Yes, Deados, today we're tackling one of pop culture's weirdest urban legends, the so-called Peanuts curse. Now I know what you're thinking. Curse? Really? This isn't the Exorcist, this is Charlie freakin Brown. And yet, the lives of many Peanuts voice actors have been marked by tragedy, struggles, or just plain bad luck. It's as if the universe took one look at these kids and said, you know what? It's not enough for Charlie Brown to lose at baseball. Let's make life harder for everyone involved. So grab your security blanket, brace yourself for a therapy session with Lucy, and join us as we dive headfirst into the offbeat, bizarre, and occasionally heartbreaking world of the Peanuts curse. Who knows? Maybe by the end of this, we'll all find out the Great Pumpkin isn't so great after all. That's today on Death in Entertainment.
Live from Los Angeles.
911, what is your emergency?
Here in Hollywood now.
2 counts of murder,
Injury and death.
Oh my God!
Shocking new details.
That has stunned the entertainment world.
This makes me a little nervous.
The hair stood up on my arms.
Just like in the movies.
What do you call this thing anyway?
Death in Entertainment.
Greetings, Deado Universe.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, everybody. How you doing? My name's Kyle Plouffe.
And I'm Alejandro Dowling.
Very excited. Yeah, we are covering the curse of the Peanuts voice cast.
Wow.
Which all starts with the great Christmas special.
And it all starts with Peter Robbins.
Yes. Well, I mean, I guess it kind of starts with Charles Schulz.
And
the things he went through.
The episode, though,
yes,
the impetus was Peter Robbins.
It was originally just going to be Peter Robbins, and then once I started delving deeper, you found out that there's a whole graveyard of voices out there.
Really?
That have been associated with the Peanuts, yeah. And a few of them are pretty tragic. So,
wow. Just
to boost your spirits right in time for Christmas.
Not all of them, though. Just a few of them.
Just a few of them, yeah.
Okay. How do you die young and it not be tragic?
That's true.
Well, I guess you'll explain it.
Yeah, we will. We have to remind you that we are a true crime, celebrity death, comedy podcast. So even though we're talking about some darker subjects, there will be laughter, okay?
If you don't like watching horror movies during the Christmas season, then it's kind of irrelevant.
Pick a different special.
There you go.
And here we go.
I think there must be something wrong with me, Linus. Christmas is coming, but I'm not happy. I don't feel the way I'm supposed to feel. I just don't understand Christmas, I guess. I like getting presents and sending Christmas cards and decorating trees and all that, but I'm still not happy. I always end up feeling depressed.
Charlie Brown, you're the only person I know who can take a wonderful season like Christmas and turn it into a problem. Maybe Lucy's right. Of all the Charlie Browns in the world, you're the Charlie Browniest.
Okay, so like I've done in the last few episodes I've hosted here, I like to delve in a little bit to the background of the main story.
I love that.
We'll get a little history lesson, you know?
Like in Cleveland.
Yes.
We found out who settled there.
Yeah.
Who built the bridges.
Earthquakes and fracking, you know. There's a lot going on. But the Peanuts, it all started with Charles Monroe Schulz. And he was born, I didn't know he was a Minneapolis guy.
Oh, I think I knew that.
Yeah, he was born in Minneapolis, Minnesota to Dina Bertina.
What?
Schulz.
Sounds like she should have been married to Dr. Seuss.
Dina Bertina. Green eggs and ham, no ma'am. And Carl Frederick Augustus Schulz. That's a lot of names.
Okay.
When his parents first met, Dina she was a waitress at a pastry shop in St. Paul.
Does a pastry shop require a waitress?
I don't think so.
You just walk up to the counter and say, hey, give me the glazed one.
Give me the cruller. Give me the bear claw. Carl Schulz, he owned a family barbershop, which was not far from her workplace.
So this is a real slice of Americana right
Absolutely.
here.
Right there in the Midwest. Boom. Cold winters, families all, working.
Yeah.
And, just celebrating life out there.
Donuts and hair.
Yeah. They were married on May 2nd, 1920. And once they got married, Dina wasn't allowed to work no more.
Really?
Yeah.
He put his foot down.
She had to become she didn't have to, but she became a full-time housewife.
Okay.
Charles Schulz said that my dad was a barber. I always admired him for the fact that both he and my mother had only third-grade educations, and from what I remembered hearing in conversations, he worked pitching hay in Nebraska one summer to earn enough money to go to barber school, got himself a couple jobs, and eventually bought his own barber shop.
That is very nice.
He's pitching hay. I didn't even know that was a real job.
Sign me up.
Yeah, American Gothic. Charles Schulz was given the nickname Sparky. Sparky Schulz. He was named after the racehorse character Sparkplug that was featured in the comic strip Barney Google.
Okay.
We all remember that one.
Did he resemble this horse?
I would hope not.
Was he a fast runner?
I think he was, I would think he had a lot of energy. Yeah.
Better than Spanky.
Spanky Schulz.
From the Little Rascals,
Yeah.
They didn't end up too well either.
They definitely did not, and we will be covering them next year for sure.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot going on there. As a kid, Charles Schulz experienced, typical life. Mm-hmm. There's ups, there's downs, and a lot of disappointments that he would incorporate into the lives of the Peanuts characters later. One of the core memories he had was trying to hold a football for another kid. And in his head, he had, the intrusive thought just to pull it away. And that would become one of the biggest things that happened often in the Peanut strips and in all the movies.
That is iconic.
Yeah.
That's a meme.
It really is. It just went into the ether of consciousness. Everybody knew about that.
The moment you said football, I almost rolled my eyes because I'm like, of course.
Yeah. Yeah, everybody knows this. Why are we even talking about it?
No, I just mean how obvious. Like,
right.
When you said it was sort of based on his experiences, that's the first one you'd think of anyway.
Yeah.
Rolled my eyes in a good way.
Right.
Or perked up, I'll say.
There you go. Charlie Brown, he would always attempt to kick the ball, but he knew Lucy would pull it away. And it's one of the most popular themes in Peanuts.
So he's Lucy?
No, he knows Lucy. Lucy's the one holding it. Oh, yeah. That's what you're saying. I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Wow.
I guess he was Lucy.
So this is like if you check out our Patreon, the Shining episode. Mm-hmm. You know how Stanley Kubrick was both Danny and Jack?
Yes.
So maybe Charles Schulz is both Lucy and Charlie.
Two sides to the same coin.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, pulling away the football, it seems to mean two things. Like, literally, it's her pulling away the football. But as a theme in here, Charlie Brown, despite knowing that it's going to happen, has the resilience to go back and try again and again and again.
He believes in the goodness of people.
He wants to.
And do you think that Charles Schulz said good grief a lot?
He probably did.
That was his phrase.
Good grief.
That's a good one.
It is. Ugh.
That sticks to the zeitgeist.
Yeah. He didn't want people to lose hope in the face of adversity.
I like that.
Yeah. He said with pulling away the football, he said, we all did it to each other. We all fell for it. In fact, he was told by a professional football player that he actually saw it happen in a college game at the University of Minnesota. The Gophers were leading by a good margin and everyone was enjoying themselves. And the man holding the football, like the kids in the neighborhood, could not resist the temptation to pull it away. So they did it during a college game.
Was it something back in the day in Minnesota where everyone found pulling the football away irresistible?
There was something in the Midwest, sorry. I remember Life with Louis Anderson. The Packers had this trick play where the quarterback took his shoe off and threw the shoe and everybody chased the shoe. And then they ran it in for a touchdown because he still had the ball.
That one's true. Bart Starr did that in 1969.
Are you serious?
No.
God damn it! Alejandro's fake facts got me again.
Yeah, I gotcha. For the 100th time this year.
God.
Good grief.
Yeah. There's more things that, would be in the Peanuts comic strips that Charles Schulz had in his life. He grew up with 2 black and white dogs.
Oh, Dalmatians.
No.
Oh.
Boston Bull Terrier.
Oh, so we got a little Boston here, too.
Hey, we got multiple Bostons in here. The Boston Bull Terrier was named Snooky. And no, I'm not talking about an Italian sloppy-titted drunk from New Jersey.
I'm with you. She was born in Chile.
Oh, she was?
And then she was adopted.
What?
Uh-huh.
No way.
Oh, yeah.
So she's not even Italian?
No, she's Chilean.
Shut up.
You never knew that?
This is a fake fact.
That's actually true.
What?
Yeah. You can Google that one.
I'm going to. So Snooky was,
Oh, does Snooky become Snoopy?
Yes.
I'm 2 steps ahead of you.
Nothing gets by you. Snooky. So it's not the IE that the other Snooky has. But it was Spike, who's also named in the comics. His antics were the ones that became Snoopy's antics because he was such a troublemaker.
Yeah.
The first dog he ever had was, like I said, the Boston Bull named Snooky. And Charles Schulz said she got run over by a taxi when she was about 10 years old, and he was about 12.
So this is the first tragedy.
Yeah. And a year later, they took a year off, and then they got Spike. And Spike was the inspiration for Snoopy.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. They moved from Minneapolis to St. Paul, which was much closer to the family barbershop.
It's not that far away, though. They're the Twin Cities. Yeah. So you can sort of
to each other.
Hop over.
They moved a lot, which was another thing that is tough when you're growing up. I moved I went to like 9 different schools by the time I was in 12th grade. It's a lot.
I can't even imagine.
Yeah.
In some ways, I'm jealous.
Oh, no.
Because those were tough years.
Yeah, but they're even tougher if you're the new kid because everyone's just like, beat the shit out of the new kid.
It's either beat the shit out of the new kid or the new kid is mysterious.
Or he's like the coolest kid. I was never the coolest kid.
It was like a 50-50 shot probably each time. And for some reason, there was always just beat the shit out of Kyle.
Because I was just tiny and I don't know, people just didn't like me when I showed up to places. I don't know.
And the other fact about you is that you had a growth spurt a little too late.
Junior to senior year, I grew a foot.
Because then you were always the tiny kid then.
Oh, yeah.
Basically, high school's over by the time you grew.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I was getting into college when I went from like 5'4" to 6 foot.
That's insane.
Crazy. Charles Schulz said the family's life always revolved around the shop. His dad was there 6 days a week. So when he wasn't at school, he was at the barbershop with his dad. But it's crazy because you think Charles Schulz, and he's talked about, having a big sense of loss and unrequited love in his life. At this point, he was like the happiest kid of all time. He remembers being completely supported by his family and teachers when he started drawing. He said his earliest recollection of drawing and getting credit for it was being complimented while he was in kindergarten. And he said the first day the teacher gave us sheets of white paper, large black crayons, and told us to draw anything we wanted. I drew a man shoveling snow, and she came around, paused, looked at my picture, and said, "Someday, Charles, you're going to be an artist."
He was an artist then.
In kindergarten. This is crazy.
But it's not someday.
Yeah, true.
Right now.
Yeah.
He's already drawing.
Yeah. Charles said she wasn't quite right. She didn't say cartoonist.
Please.
Splitting hairs there, Charles. He said, I had drawn the snow shovel as a square, but I knew this was not right. I knew nothing about perspective and didn't know how to fix it. Yeah, you're 5 years old.
So what shape did he make the shovel? A triangle? They think that he has special needs after that.
No, it should be a rectangle.
Yeah. They're like, don't you know how to draw a shovel?
You just shovel him with a spade shovel, you dummy. Get this 5-year-old out of here.
And he's held back suddenly, even though he's just doing his art.
The teacher's being held back, trying to kick his ass. Yeah, so he's being hard on himself, being like, I knew I didn't get it quite right.
Yeah.
And this is the most interesting quote for me. He said, I was raised during the Depression struggle, which didn't affect me personally because I didn't think little kids knew what was going on. If you have pancakes for dinner, you think that's wonderful because you love pancakes. You don't realize that you're probably having them because your parents can't afford anything else.
So the barbershop wasn't bringing in the bacon?
See, this is where I'm kind of confused. It doesn't really say it. It doesn't say that they were doing really well. It doesn't say that they were.
You know what?
It's hard to think that people would need haircuts during the Depression if they're not going to work every day.
The mom should not have left the bakery. You want to know why?
Ooh.
Because she was bringing home the bread.
Hey, the breadwinner.
Do we have that button?
I don't know if it's there anymore.
Okay. Never mind.
But since, it was the Depression, there really wasn't much going on. So
nothing.
He remembers saying
there was dust. Like you could watch a tumbleweed cross the road and that was your activity for the day.
Yeah.
That was like our Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
Watching the tumbleweed go across the road during the Great Depression. Yeah. Haven't you read The Grapes of Wrath? I mean, it was a pretty dismal period.
But I know it, like New York completely collapsed. I don't know if I've ever really thought about how
You're talking about 9/11 again?
How it hit.
Everything always goes back to the Twin Towers with you.
I've always thought about the depression in like major cities. I've never really thought about how it affected the Midwest and like everywhere in between. It must have been awful.
It was awful everywhere. How did it affect the Midwest? It was the same everywhere. People were unemployed.
Yeah.
At least he had his drawings.
Yes. But he said for entertainment for himself as a kid growing up, there were three things. There was the Saturday afternoon serials at the movie houses. Mm-hmm. Can't afford it. The late
he couldn't go to them?
I'm sure he probably could.
Oh.
But most people during the Depression, no one's able to afford anything.
Yeah, that's true. But why did they have them then?
They had them before the Depression hit.
I guess you'd have to like sweep the theater or something, like get a job there.
Yeah.
In exchange for seeing movies.
Right. He said, so we got the movie houses and then late afternoon radio programs and the biggest one in his family, the comic strips.
Ah, the funnies.
The funnies. My dad, he said, quote, my dad was always a great comic strip reader, and he and I made sure that all 4 newspapers published in Minneapolis, St. Paul were brought home. I grew up with only one real career desire in life, and that was to someday draw my own comic strip.
That's cool.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
To know what you want and just go after it and fucking nail it.
To be fair, though, kids love comics.
Yeah.
So it's not that strange that a kid would be like, I want to draw one of these one day.
Right.
For my job. It's like, yeah, that's right, kid.
Get in line, kid. That was his journey through the Depression. Then we hit 1937. New Year's Eve, 1936, his father, Carl, wrote a letter to Robert Ripley's Believe It or Not newspaper, describing the family dog's talents to eat all sorts of oddities without adverse results. He wrote, quote, all these things have been swallowed whole and digested.
We fed him some drain cleaner last night. He's still barking.
So he included a picture of Spike drawn by Charles Schulz, and they included it in their actual Ripley's Believe It or Not newspaper.
Wow.
And that was his first time being published.
That's Snoopy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Amazing.
So it was the picture of Spike, who is the genesis for Snoopy, and alongside of it was all of his strange and unsavory digestibles.
Oh, he included those as well.
Yeah, so it's like this, it's a full page printout. It's crazy. It took up the whole thing. And so he was 14 years old. This is the first time he was actually published at 14 years old.
So thanks, Carl.
With the help of his dad. That's amazing.
Yeah.
See, it goes to show you how things can get done if you have supportive parents.
True.
Yeah.
But not too supportive. Like, we know how those momagers are.
That's true, too.
And it doesn't sound like she was,
Yeah.
right?
The mom?
Yeah.
No, she's fine.
She's supportive, but she's not, counting all the beans.
Yeah, she's cheering him along. That's all you have to do. So he says he gets out of high school because he got pushed along 2 years early. So by the time he was 15, he was already out of high school. And he said he had mundane jobs as a delivery boy, and then he would just send cartoons over and over and over and into magazines. And he said he didn't come close.
No one would accept him.
Laundry list of rejection slips.
And this is before the time, probably before the big boom of like Vault of Horror, Mad Magazine.
Oh, yeah. This is way before.
He would have killed it in those days, but he was already successful by then.
Right. Yeah, this is still the late 30s, early 40s. So he says, it wasn't until after World War II when I came back that I really was able to earnestly go after what I wanted to do. But these were formative years, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
So at age 20, Schulz was drafted into the U.S. Army to serve in World War II, boys.
So it's not quite a Pat Tillman because he's not famous yet.
Exactly. That's why he wasn't covered in the people that I covered early in that episode.
Which is why it's so extraordinary that there is someone that's famous that would go to war willingly.
Right. The U.S. had entered the war on December 7th, 1941, following the attack on Pearl Harbor.
I just wanted to prove I knew it too.
Yeah. This is the most poignant point.
Okay, I'm listening.
He says, the Army taught me all I needed to know about loneliness.
Oh, I thought you were going to say about life.
About loneliness.
That's not a very high compliment.
No, because in 1943, he leaves. And within just a few days of Schulz going for his induction into the Army at Fort Snelling in Minneapolis, his mother, Dina, died.
Oh, no.
At the age of 50.
Oh.
She had been ill for several years at this point and likely succumbed to undetected cervical cancer.
That was considered old age then.
50 in 1943? Yeah. He didn't get to say goodbye.
That was a line in the Flintstones.
Yeah.
Where Barney's trying to tell Fred to stop eating so much red meat.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, well, my father ate it every day of his life, and he lived to the ripe old age of 35. I ruined your poignant moment here.
No, but this is crazy because you assume that anyone with depression has it as a kid, but he was all happy, joy.
That's tragedy. Mom dies at 50, and when he's just starting out in the world.
And then he has to go to war.
And war.
Yeah.
Jeez.
The 20th Armored Division, which is the division he was in, was transported to Camp Miles Standish in Taunton, Massachusetts.
All right. Now it's coming full circle for both of us.
There for 2 weeks before getting shipped out. And this is what they called it, the European Theater of Operations.
What?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
The war. They used to call like the war the theater of operations. It's a weird thing. We were talking about this on my pool team, and they made it sound more regal or more enjoyable than what it was, which was people getting shot in the face.
Yeah, they make it sound like you're going to see My Fair Lady.
Hello. Hello, my lady. Hello, my darling. Oh, shit. So on February 5th, 1945, the unit embarked from Boston, and they all hopped on the U.S. Army Transport Brazil for a 2-week voyage across the Atlantic Ocean before landing in Le Havre, France.
There's a lot of ethnicities going on here.
Yeah.
You got Brazil, Boston, and France.
Easter Sunday, April 1st. He's not near his family anymore. His mother just died. And now he has to go fight through France, Belgium, and Holland before entering Germany.
Could you imagine?
Ugh. By April 3rd, they entered Germany, and they had their weapons and moved their convoy across the Rhine River And April 13th, they were completely across the river, and they awoke to the shocking news that President Roosevelt had died. So they're all just like, what the fuck is going on?
Was it a shock, though?
I don't know.
Wasn't he kind of ill for a while?
Yeah, he had like fucking...
And he's in a wheelchair.
It was in for 16 years.
The last few years, it was basically a skeleton being wheeled around.
The original Biden.
Wasn't exactly like Kennedy being shot or something.
That's true. Well, they said it's the shock.
Okay.
So I'm going with that.
Can you believe it? A very sick old man just passed away. Call Ripley. He draws a picture about it.
Yeah. Oh. So then they go into Austria and got into major firefights. And
with Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Hear the lamentations of the women. It's not a tumor.
We've got to get out of here.
Get to the chopper. Oh, fuck. We don't have any. His firefight that he got into in Austria with the Germans led to the Germans surrendering on May 8th, 1945.
There we go.
Schulz was awarded the Combat Infantryman Badge for fighting in active ground combat under hostile fire.
That is a mouthful.
Yes. And they're like, good job, boys. Come on home.
That must have been such a relief.
Yeah. So they went through France where it was, really shoddy and things are going on. They
didn't have a good time in France?
They come back.
They didn't have any brie and
chèvre
and wine.
Yeah. No Sud de France vino. That's Italian.
Come stay a while. I have a large baguette.
And an aperitif.
It's Pepe Le Pew. Like, hey, we know what you're up to.
Yeah, you're canceled, pal. So on July 14th, they go back and they get on trains through France, and they are able to witness France celebrating their first Bastille Day since 1940.
Wow.
So they liberated all of Europe pretty much with Charles Schulz at the helm. He was a machine gunner. How crazy is that?
That's crazy.
And so he's on the train watching people cheer them on and go crazy. And that train led them to their ship that would take them back to the U.S.
So he blew a lot of things up.
He probably killed a lot of people.
A lot of Germans.
Yeah.
A lot of German blood.
Yep. All the,
He probably put that blood in his comics later on. You ever notice why Snoopy's house is red?
Yeah. So then Schulz makes it home. For the next 5 years, he hustles as hard as he possibly can to get any of his strips published. He got his first of 17 drawings published in the Saturday Evening Post magazine.
That's the same publication that would showcase Norman Rockwell.
Yeah, and his actually kind of looked like Rockwell, like the drawings he did. His first one, I would have assumed it would be Rockwell.
Oh, so he was doing that style
Yes, the very 1950s.
Scenery.
Yes, and family at home.
I love that stuff. I mean, it's timeless.
Yeah.
You see, same with Charles Schulz or Norman Rockwell.
Yeah.
Like that, for instance, that iconic Thanksgiving picture.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I feel like he was doing more of what the magazine wanted than what he wanted. Because he actually would draw in a bunch of different types. He would draw in a bunch of different styles to try to get anything published.
And he would happen to be good at a bunch of different styles.
Yeah.
I mean, that's crazy that you could be as good as Norman Rockwell and be like, this isn't really my thing, though.
Yeah.
I prefer the funnies.
Right. I mean, that was his goal the whole time. So his first one, he remembers telling his dad that he was getting a check from the post. And his dad was like, what? And they came to the house and he got a check for $40, which was probably $10 million back in the day.
Yeah.
But 17 and the first one's $40 back in the Great Depression years. Jeez, come on. Let's go.
10-cent hamburgers at McDonald's.
Yeah. He was feeling himself at this point.
Ooh.
It was during this time he was actually an instructor at the art instruction school that he actually studied under early in life.
So he became an instructor faster than a working cartoonist.
Yeah.
I guess, though, that's like most writers.
Yeah, you got to do what you got to do. It was there that he met and started dating Donna Mae Johnson, who was in the accounting department at the school.
Is there anybody in this world that is not completely classic 1950s
Donna Mae Johnson.
cookie cutter?
This is messed up, though. So
Donna Mae was a cannibal.
She ate his heart. She did.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she was dating him. They were getting along really well. He was planning a life in his head with her. We're going to be together forever. We're going to have kids. She accepted another man's marriage proposal instead of Schultz's. Brutal.
That is.
And Schultz would go on to immortalize her as the unrequited love of Charlie Brown, only ever known in the Peanut strip as the little red-haired girl. If she was a ginger, bullet dodged. But this is where he really gets a fire under his ass. And he gets a bunch of more rejections.
And while he avoided the fire in her crotch.
Hello! Pow! Right in the kisser. He finally was able to sell one of his strips called Lil Folks to unite your...
Sounds like a Midwest rapper.
Lil Folk. He sold Lil Folks to the United Feature Syndicate in 1950. He was so excited, head over heels, can't believe it. Finally made it. He is now officially a cartoonist, but he had his first letdown because they said they already had a strip similar in name to Lil Folks. So
Lil Abner. Or what was it?
Lil Abner, and then it was like the Trials of Lil Folks or something.
Oh, that does sound very similar.
Yeah, so
I'd be confused too. Like I have a great idea for a comic strip. It's called Mr. Garfield.
Yeah, exactly. So the United Feature Syndicate said, we got to use the name Peanuts.
Shut up. He didn't come up with Peanuts?
Not only did he not come up with it, he actually hated it till the day he died.
Really?
He didn't like it.
Ever?
He was forced to use it, and he said it never resonated. He didn't like it. Eventually, it probably grew on him, but he really did not enjoy it.
Wow.
Very weird.
Yeah. You would think that well after the mega success of the comics, you'd sort of be okay with it.
Yeah.
As you're, taking a shit in your gold toilet.
Yeah, exactly. He was doing very well with this. So that is the one thing that hit, and he went with Peanuts, and he was featured weekly. I didn't even realize that they had a syndicate like that would send it out to all the newspapers. Like they were the network.
Yeah, isn't that how it worked?
Pushed it out. I guess. I don't know.
You thought it was all localized?
I guess.
So
you mail it out to everyone yourself.
Oh. No, but eventually isn't it like syndicated?
Yeah.
You're not talking about syndication though.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well.
I am.
So what did you think? The Family Circus was private to you?
No, I just thought that the cartoonists would do it themselves.
Was only in Boston
to send it to everybody. I didn't realize there was this whole network that was like, just give it to us and we'll give it out to everybody else.
It's like an agent.
Yeah, exactly.
Kyle, you have a lot to learn about this world.
This is 1950. I don't know. There is. I'm a very naive boy.
And did you think he had to draw every
single one? Yes. That's what he did, right?
He's like, oh my God. I just flew in from Boston, and boy, are my hands tired from all this copying of my... Anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, so he's getting published every major newspaper across the country, and I believe internationally.
Ooh, it hits France.
France!
One of the people that knew him, they're like, I knew him! We shared the baguette one night before blowing up some Germans.
German's head blew off.
Pepe Le Pew is now married to Donna. She stinks.
Donna Mae Le Pew. Oh, boy. So, yeah.
I bet she was regretting that decision later on.
100%.
Oh, my Lord.
What an idiot. So, 10 years later, in 1960, Peanuts have been killing it for a decade, but they haven't really capitalized on like merch or anything. In 1960, Hallmark wants to start making greeting cards.
Oh,
So that was the first big thing.
I forgot about the greeting card.
Oh, yeah. And that's what popped it off to such a huge degree. Then everyone was like, oh, shoot, we got to start like really capitalizing on this and make merchandise. So after the greeting cards come out and they're a huge success, then a bunch of companies are just lobbying to do whatever they can. They want handbags, they want lunch boxes, they want everything. And they
Footballs?
Footballs.
You think that would be a big seller?
Yeah. I mean, there were like Woodstock phones that my aunt had. She had all things Snoopy. It was crazy.
So was Woodstock named after the place?
Oh.
Because I always thought of Jimi Hendrix or something.
Schulz did admit that he took Woodstock from the rock festival.
He did?
Yeah.
I knew it.
Because the festival's logo shows a bird perched on a guitar.
Ah, okay, that's
Holy
good.
shit.
So he was sort of a hippie.
Yeah. Okay, so they work their way up. They end up getting CBS to give them their own first animated television special. December 9th, 1965. Do you know what one this is?
I'm trying to think. Let me guess. Is it a holiday themed?
Yes, it is.
It must be the Halloween one.
Yes, in December.
Wait, what?
It is a Charlie Brown Christmas.
Oh, that was the first one.
Yeah.
Okay.
It included producer Lee Mendelson, animator director Bill Melendez, not John Melendez.
Yeah, Stuttering John. I don't think he would be able to pull that one off.
Yeah, and writer Charles Schulz. They actually got Vince Guaraldi, a jazz musician who composed and performed the score.
One of the greats.
Yeah.
What a brilliant idea to mix an amazing jazz pianist
Yeah.
with this cartoon.
Right.
It's just, what do they call it? They call it music.
Yes.
It's a symphony together, you know?
Yeah. Schulz.
Don't laugh at me. I love it.
It's music. That's right, because he's a musician.
Okay.
Schulz received an Emmy nod for special classification of individual achievements, and the program won an Emmy for outstanding children's program. A Charlie Brown Christmas also won a Peabody Award for outstanding children's and youth program.
So this catapults Peanuts into the next level.
Yes. It catapults Peanuts, and it also catapults the voice of Charlie Brown.
Oh.
Peter Robbins.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yes. Peter Robbins, he can be heard here. This is when he was introduced to the world. Charlie Brown Christmas.
Linus is right. I won't let all this commercialism ruin my Christmas. I'll take this little tree home and decorate it. And I'll show him it really will work in our play. First prize.
I was about to say something, then I got interrupted.
He goes to Snoopy's little house. He's got first prize on there. He's got the lights. He's got all the bells and whistles hanging over his house. And Charlie Brown's distraught with the idea of commercialization of Christmas.
I was just going to say that the score gives me chills.
Oh, it's like soul food for me. It's nostalgic.
It's so weird. Like every time I watch a Charlie Brown Christmas or hear the music from it,
yeah,
I get the chills.
Me too. I watch it every year, and I listen to it every year.
Oh, well, this commercial dog is not going to ruin my Christmas.
What's happening?
He steals one of the bulbs off his tree, off his house, and then he puts it on the top of his tree, and then it just bends over.
I've killed it. Oh, everything I touch gets ruined.
Oh, poor Charlie Brown.
That is sad. There is a melancholy to Charlie Brown.
Absolutely.
It's the agony of youth.
Yes. So that was Peter Robbins that you just heard. He's an American actor best known as the original voice of Charlie Brown in the Peanut specials of the 1960s.
Which are that's it.
That's the best
like,
ones. Yeah. There's no getting better than that.
That's like anybody else that's involved in a Charlie Brown special, that's like Home Alone 5.
Right.
Or the Home Alone with that little British kid.
Oh, God.
On Disney Plus, where the bad guys end up being good guys or something.
It's terrible.
Like, you got to go with the OG.
Yes.
Peter Robbins is Macaulay Culkin, is what I'm trying to say.
100%. Peter Robbins was not always known as Peter Robbins, though.
Oh.
He was born August 10th, 1956 in Los Angeles, California. He was known as Louis Nanasi.
I wonder why he changed it.
Are you a Nazi?
Oh, God. That's what Charles Schulz was asking when he was
Yeah, he had a gun in his
in
face.
Europe.
You're Peter Robbins now. So Robbins became the voice of Charlie Brown in the first Peanut special, which we just heard.
Mm-hmm.
That was in 1965. He was 9 years old when we just heard him. Yeah. He voiced him in the Charlie Brown Christmas, It's the Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown, and other specials and commercials from 1965 to 1969.
So the Halloween one was probably the second special.
Yes, it was.
I was close.
Yes, you were very close.
You got to start with Christmas.
That's true.
The Simpsons, the very first episode, the pilot is the Simpsons Christmas special.
Wow.
In 1989.
God damn. Peter's distinctive voice captured the vulnerability and sincerity of the character, helping make Charlie Brown a cultural icon. Robbins later expressed immense pride in his association with the role. So he's doing that he peaks at like 10 years old.
Yeah.
Because you're doing all this, everyone's loving you. And then like we've seen in other episodes with, Aaron Carter, Bobby
Driscoll,
Peter
Pan.
Yeah.
I was thinking about him because I went to Disneyland recently.
Oh, yeah.
And when I saw the 3D movie.
Oh, yeah, the symphony.
Yeah.
Silly symphony.
They have a sequence with Peter Pan, and I'm thinking this many years later, they're still using Bobby Driscoll's likeness.
Yeah.
And they chewed him up and spit him out.
Yep. It's brutal. And although that's not exactly what happened to him, he left on his own in the 1970s, but he wasn't getting as many roles. So it's not like they locked the lot on him and were like, you got to go home because you're not welcome here anymore.
So he couldn't play 9 years old when he was 16 is what you're saying?
Yeah, he just work dried up.
That is so sad, and yet it's so inevitable.
Yeah.
Because even Henry Thomas from E.T., he said that when he would go to auditions, when he was post-puberty, he'd walk into the room and the casting director would look at him, shake their head, and he knew in that instant, oh, they were expecting Elliot.
Wow.
And they don't want an older kid.
Yeah, that's brutal. So, yeah, he leaves, on his own, and then just things go downhill. He's getting into fights with people. He's doing drugs. He's drinking. He faced a lot of challenges in adulthood and severe mental health issues. It wasn't until later in life he was actually diagnosed with bipolar disorder and substance abuse disorder, which led to tons of legal and personal difficulties.
Yeah.
He was arrested many times and actually served prison sentences multiple times for charges related to threats and harassment.
Really?
Yeah. He really went off the deep end.
So this is all attributed to the mental disorder.
Yes. It was undiagnosed bipolar, and they even say schizophrenia.
Yeah, what did they used to call it back in the day? It was like you were having a manic episode, but there was another term they used.
Manic depression.
Yeah, instead of bipolar.
Right. NPR in 2006 did a broadcast on him, like updating where all the Peanuts cast was. Mm-hmm. And they said that Peter was managing real estate in Van Nuys.
Well, that's not a bad update.
No. But then just a few years later, January 20th, 2013, Peter Robbins was charged with 4 felony counts of making a threat to cause death or great bodily injury and 1 felony count of stalking. Yeah, CBS says the man who was once the voice of Charlie Brown and the first Peanuts television specials has pleaded guilty to threatening and stalking both his ex-girlfriend and a plastic surgeon who performed breast enhancement surgery on her.
He didn't like her boobs?
He loved her boobs, but the day after she got her surgery to enhance her breasts, she broke up with him. And he paid $6,000 out of his own pocket to give her the boobs.
I mean, so far I'm not hearing anything wrong that he's doing.
Was furious. He's like, oh my God, I'm going to have a sick chick with huge tits and everything's going to be good. Here's the $6,000, baby. You go get it. She's like in the hospital bed being like, we're done.
Oh my God.
So he was.
Can you blame him?
He was furious. He's like, you need to get a refund. He was leaving voicemails on her message machine.
I can't even imagine what that feels like to pay for a boob job and then you don't even get to enjoy it.
No, you're broken up with before they're even healed.
Jesus Christ. It's like paying for a movie ticket and then you don't see the movie.
Right. He was 56 years old when he entered the plea in a San Diego court and could get up to 3 years in prison at his sentencing. Prosecutors say Robbins called his former girlfriend dozens of times a day and told her he would kill her and her son if
her boobs
if she did not give back his dog and car. So he gave her $6,000, a car, and she still had his dog.
He shouldn't stalk her or threaten her.
Yeah,
but boy, what a bad shake, you know.
He made similar threats and demanded a refund from the plastic surgeon who gave Robbins' ex-girlfriend breast enhancement surgery, for which Robbins paid.
How did that go over?
Well, the police were called.
Yeah.
When he was sentenced to a year in jail for threatening his former girlfriend and stalking her plastic surgeon.
I mean, I suppose that's appropriate. This is if there's ever an instance where the term gray area comes into play.
Yeah.
Because I can understand his rage.
Oh, dude, I'd be so mad.
But his actions should not have, gone that far.
Yeah. And that's the thing. So instead of going to prison, he was actually transferred to a residential drug treatment center.
Okay, well, that's fair.
Yeah. So that's
probably is the reason he bought the boobs.
Yeah.
Because he was all fucked up.
Yes. And that's where he was diagnosed with possible schizophrenia and bipolar disorder. So he started receiving treatment for that and becoming sober. So his life started getting better.
Yeah.
He said that the treatment for alcoholism and addiction to prescription medications would be a first step towards becoming the fun-loving person he used to be. He said he loved his former girlfriend and he apologized to her and her plastic surgeon for any fear that I had caused.
And he added, by the way, nice tits.
You call those tits? He was ordered to pay the plastic surgeon $15,000 in restitution.
For what? For stalking?
And to avoid contacting his ex-girlfriend for 10 years.
I don't know why I don't feel bad for plastic surgeons.
I don't feel bad at all, yeah. I mean, dude, especially if you don't know where the money's coming from, it could get dicey. It's just such a bad situation.
Mm-hmm. Could you imagine, though, buying a pair of tits one time? And then you got to buy them again, and then you still don't get to see them.
Yeah, he ended up paying $21,000 to a surgeon who only needed $6,000 for the surgery.
Maybe he's an extremist. Because usually dudes, you see a girl at the bar, you buy her a martini. Yeah. You don't get her a boob job. So in May of 2015, he's back in court. And let's hear a little bit of what HLN had to say. Mm-hmm.
The actor who, as a child, voiced the character Charlie Brown is being evaluated for mental competency. Peter Robbins went on a tirade in court on Friday. He was shouting obscenities at the judge and the prosecutor. Take a look.
I'm withdrawing my guilty plea.
Good luck on that, Mr. Robbins.
Good luck to you.
Have a nice
I hope
day.
you drop dead of a heart attack. You
My goodness, this went on and on. 2 years ago, Robbins was sentenced to 5 years probation. He'd pleaded guilty to threatening his girlfriend and stalking her doctor. He was back in court for parole violations. Robbins was the lead voice actor in A Charlie Brown Christmas and It's the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown.
And this is the worst episode of Where Are They Now you'll ever see.
So it's clear that he relapsed and had some parole violations, so he ended up having to go to prison for a while. And that was his, day in court, being like, I hope you die of a heart attack, you son of a bitch.
Yeah.
I hope you burn in hell.
Yeah, only in the movies is it magical.
Yeah.
In real life, you just get more prison time.
Yeah.
So what were his drugs of choice?
Prescription pills. Yeah.
And where was he getting them?
Oh, you can get them.
I know. Okay, fine. Dr. Feelgood.
Yes, exactly. Okay, so that's 2015. He had to spend a few years in the pokey, and in 2019, he's getting out, says he's rehabilitated, and we'll see what he has to say to the news stations here.
I shouldn't have picked this little tree.
From the child star who voiced Charlie Brown.
Success is not final and failure is not fatal.
To a convicted two-strike felon. Peter.
I thought when you were like, let's see what he said, and then we heard Charlie Brown. Yeah. I thought it was a joke.
Failure is not fatal.
To a convicted two-strike felon. Peter Robbins is ready for the spotlight again.
Phil, it's great to see you.
Peter, you look great.
Thank you so much.
No longer a blockhead?
Well, not the way I used to be.
Why would that be your first question?
Like, it's a very serious thing he went through.
Not a blockhead anymore, huh?
You ever tried to kick a football and miss?
I would recommend to anybody that has bipolar disorder to take it seriously, because your life can turn around in the span of a month like it did to me. I came out of prison, and I'm a better person for it.
To celebrate, Robbins touched up his tattoo of the beloved cartoon character who will forever be part of his past, present, and future.
It's a symbol to me of refurbishing my life. I don't have any animosity towards anybody. I want to write a book about my experiences in jail and prison and what I have to look forward to. Confessions of a Blockhead is what I'm going to call it.
This time I'm going to kick that football clear to the moon.
Ugh! Charlie Brown fans are the greatest fans in the world, and everybody is willing, I hope, to give me a second chance.
Yeah, so he had high hopes. He wanted to come out with his memoirs, Confessions of a Blockhead, and he was hoping that it would be #1 on the charts.
Did he write it?
He said he had been writing it, but as of January 18th, 2022, it had not been published. And at the age of 65, his family reported that he had taken his own life.
I forgot that he did that.
Yeah, they announced it a week after it happened. Brutal.
Yeah.
2022. So recently.
Yeah, we covered it on our In Memoriam, actually.
Yeah. In Oceanside, California, down near San Diego.
I mean, it's not the first child star turned adult tragedy.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I had looked up his obituary, and there were people that commented on it, and they said that they remembered his sister Anna, his next door neighbors, and they said that she had died in 2010. And I looked it up. She was a child actress too.
Really?
Yeah, she was in The Adventures of Rin Tin Tin, Leave It to Beaver, The Danny Thomas Show, Father Knows Best.
Wow.
She had a recurring role as Edie Westrope on The George Burns and Gracie Allen Show.
Hey, kid, you got it.
She was in Wanted Dead or Alive with Steve McQueen.
Ooh.
I mean, I didn't realize an entertainment family.
Yeah.
But just the kids.
What was her name?
Anna Capri.
Okay, so that wasn't his original name though, was it?
No, Nanasi.
Nanasi.
So
Okay,
they don't want Nanasi.
They got no Nanasi. Capri. I wonder why she didn't choose Robbins.
Yeah, I don't know.
That would have been, was it Anya or Anna?
Anna.
Anna Robbins. That would have worked too.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why she didn't get any more work.
She was
No, I'm just kidding.
August 9th, 2010, Capri was in a car accident in which a 5-ton truck collided with her car.
Oh my God.
She spent 10 days in a coma and on life support, and she died August 19th at age 66.
I hate to say it, but if Peter Robbins was predisposed to having bipolar disorder, drug addiction, that had to have sent him into a spiral.
Absolutely. I mean, you're already portraying the world's most depressed kid.
Right.
when
And
you're
then-
just getting into the world.
And then you become the world's most depressed adult.
Yeah. And that's the thing. It's like, is it the chicken or the egg? Did the material have something to do with the mindset?
I don't know.
I mean, it's undoubtedly tragic what happened to him.
There's a weird kind of irony with sad songs and sad movies, sad shows,
Yeah.
sad books. You get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Sad anything. Where it actually doesn't make you sadder.
Right.
Like you can relate. The fact that you can relate means you're not alone.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So I don't know if it would have been better or worse if he hadn't gone through that experience of being Charlie Brown.
Yeah. It's crazy that there's a bunch of other people that passed away after voicing either Charlie Brown or one of the Peanuts cast. Dylan Beach was born January 31st, 1965 and died July 22nd, 2008. He was a former child actor and was the son of late actor Scott Beach, who voiced the announcer in You're the Greatest Charlie Brown and She's a Good Skate Charlie Brown. Dylan Beach voiced Charlie Brown in It's Arbor Day, Charlie Brown.
Wait, so the dad got him in?
I guess so. And Beach died on July 22nd, 2008 due to pulmonary hypertension at the age of 43.
That is young.
Very young.
That's
The older I get, the younger it seems. About to be 40. Jesus Christ.
You mean, thank God.
That's a good way to look at it.
Well, you know what? Life's a beach.
And then you get hit by a truck. Stuart Brotman,
That's how I want to go.
former child actor.
When I'm 90, by the way, okay?
I'll go to 100. Why not?
All right, when I'm 100,
Yeah.
I want to get hit by an Amazon van. And then my family can sue them.
There you go. Stuart Brotman was a child actor. He was born in Minnesota.
Like Charles Schulz?
That's right. He was the actor that provided the voice of Peppermint Patty.
Wait a minute.
I know. It's weird.
Mind is blown.
And well, it's 2025, Alejandro.
All right. Okay.
He also voiced Peppermint Patty in the Peanuts 25th anniversary special, Happy Anniversary, Charlie Brown, and was featured in the 1990 TV documentary special, You Don't Look 40, Charlie Brown. Stuart Brotman died on January 29th, 2011 in San Francisco, California, of complications from a brain aneurysm. Robin Reed was the first Black American to voice Franklin, who was a Black character, in a Charlie Brown Thanksgiving, which, by the way, they make Franklin sit on his own side by himself.
I remember the controversy about that.
Really messed up.
That is, actually.
But Robin Reed was a former child actor. As an adult, Reed became a stockbroker and worked in Phoenix, Arizona. And Reed died on February 28th, 2024, but they were born in 62. So, it was 60-something years old.
That's borderline.
Yeah, but I just wanted to give a shout out to them for being the first actual Black actor to portray a Black character.
Yeah, really?
Yeah.
That's kind of messed up.
It is.
But I guess thanks to Peanuts for making that happen.
Absolutely. Christopher Dylan Shea provided the voice of Linus Van Pelt in 5 Peanuts television specials. Shea appeared on various television series throughout the 60s and 70s, He was an older brother of Stephen Shea, who provided the voice of Linus in Peanuts television specials during the 70s, and Eric Shea, who was also an actor. On August 10th, 2010, in Honeydew, Humboldt County, California, Shea died of natural causes at the age of 52. 52 is still early.
That's very early.
Yeah.
Middle-aged.
Yeah. This one, Carl Stephen, who was born as Carlo Stephen Krakoff.
So he left the crack off.
Yeah. In 1985, he voiced Franklin in the episode Sally's Sweet Baboo.
This is a kid's show?
Yeah. In the Charlie Brown and Snoopy show. And voiced Franklin and Pigpen in Snoopy's Getting Married, Charlie Brown. In 1996, Stephen retired from acting and got so addicted to pain medication, he got a tonsillectomy. You get your tonsils removed. It's not that bad of a surgery, but is it enough to get addicted to opiates? I don't know. He ended up going so crazy that he was arrested for armed robbery in Tucson, Arizona, and was sentenced to 13 years in prison.
Armed robbery of a store or something?
Yeah, he wanted more drugs. He was, getting into fights and robbing people, and finally got caught in 2010. Sentenced to 13 years in prison, but the next year, in 2011, he overdosed on heroin while in prison.
While in prison?
Yep.
So he found it underground.
Oh, you can find it in prison for sure.
I know.
Yeah.
But still.
Who's bringing it in? Looking at you, guards.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the place to do it if you're going to do it.
Yeah. Steven is the Peanuts actor to have had the shortest lifespan, which is, saying something.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that is the other crazy one other than Peter Robbins.
Yeah.
Where someone just got on drugs and got violent and things just did not go well.
No.
There is a dark cloud hanging over the Peanuts gang.
Yeah.
But that brings us back to Mr. Charles Schulz.
Yeah, you left us hanging with that one.
Yes. Long storied career, we all know. In the 90s, he was having his heyday. There's people doing, museum exhibits on the Peanuts now. And he's having 40th anniversary celebrations across the world.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to Paris. He's going to fashion shows. They're having Snoopy fashion shows at the Louvre. The Louvre. I'm French. You'd think I'd know that. He's getting all sorts of commemorations and awards. Snoopy the Masterpiece opens at the Montreal Museum of Fine Arts in 1992. Oh, this is hilarious. In 1993, the United States Hockey Hall of Fame inducts Charles Schulz into their Hall of Fame for his contribution to hockey during the course of his career, which is just the kids playing hockey.
In the strip.
Yeah.
Wow.
They have a tribute to the art of Charles Schulz at the Houston Space Center in 1995. In 1996, he receives his star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, which I've seen.
Yes. And maybe you can see it on our upcoming tour.
Yes. Coming to Hollywood in January 2025. And then in December 14th, 1999, they publish his retirement letter. And it's Snoopy on top of his house with a little typewriter. And Charles announces, "Dear friends, I've been fortunate to draw Charlie Brown and his friends for almost 50 years. It has been the fulfillment of my childhood ambition. Unfortunately, I am no longer able to maintain the schedule demanded by a daily comic strip. Therefore, I am announcing my retirement. I have been grateful over the years for the loyalty of our editors and the wonderful support and love expressed to me by fans of the comic strip. Charlie Brown, Snoopy, Linus, Lucy, how can I ever forget them? Charles Schulz." So that's a huge, huge accomplishment that he's got 50 years, 2,600 newspapers worldwide, and book collections that were translated in over 25 languages.
Unmatched.
Unbelievable. But he had known that he had colon cancer. So he felt the end near.
That's a bad one.
Yeah. And his final, it's so eerie. His final strip was supposed to come out February 13th, 2000. He died February 12th, 2000.
So he didn't even see the final strip.
Mm-mm.
Wow.
And the final strip is Charlie Brown answering the phone saying, no, I think he's writing. Saying he's not here.
Oh.
Oof.
Wow.
And that was supposed to be his retirement.
Yeah.
Not that he was dead.
So he didn't even get to enjoy retirement.
No.
How old was he?
77. 77 good years, man.
Yeah.
They say differing things. They say he died in his sleep of a heart attack at his home in Santa Rosa, California at 77. He was suffering from colorectal cancer.
That's really what got him.
Yeah. And again, we're bringing up August 15th. August 15th, 2002, the Charles Schulz Museum and Research Center opens its doors to the public. And it's still open to this day in Santa Rosa, California.
Oh, not Minnesota.
No, he was out here. So he was living in Santa Rosa, and that's where they decided to put it up.
Makes sense.
That's crazy. So he didn't even get to see, he saw all of this stuff going into museums, and then he actually has a museum for himself.
Yeah.
Named after himself.
Amazing.
That's pretty incredible. But that is the life and times of Charles Schulz and the cast of the Peanuts crew.
Man, I thought this was the Christmas episode.
Yeah, I mean, Merry Christmas, everybody.
Well, there is one more clip.
Yes, there is.
This is a segment from CBS This Morning in 2021. And they interview Vince Guaraldi's daughter, and they interview the original guys who sang the song Christmas Time Is Here.
Oh, my God.
And they recreate it in this clip.
But the special was a monster hit. It won an Emmy, it's been on TV every Christmas since 1965, and Guaraldi's score became one of the best-selling jazz albums of all time.
500,000 sold the gold record, and this is for 4 million sold.
Dia Guaraldi is Vince's daughter. Guaraldi wrote the music for every Charlie Brown special thereafter, until February 1976.
He was playing a small little club, and he had gone off for a break, and he hit the ground, and he was dead. On the break from the show.
He died of a heart attack at age 47.
There's another one.
I'm proud of who my dad is. I'm so blessed by this life because of him, for sure.
Dan, when's the last time you sang this entire thing?
End of September 1965.
This is it, the reunion tour.
Wow.
Christmas time is here, families drawing near.
And for these three guys, Christmas Time Is Here will always be much more than a classic.
I'm extremely proud to have been associated with it. I think it's gotten better with age. Thank goodness Linus reminds us every year what Christmas is all about.
Oh, that we could always see such spirit through the year.
Oh.
See, that's a nice note to end on.
Yes. That brings us into
Final thoughts.
I say treat addiction, look after child stars, and hold your loved ones close this holiday season.
Absolutely.
That's my final thought. And I think Charlie Brown Christmas is immortal.
Yeah.
And I'll continue watching it like you.
Oh, yeah.
Every single year.
Every year. You gotta. There's just something about the music that just feels so warm.
Mm-hmm.
It's so weird.
Yeah, that's the perfect adjective for it.
Yeah. It is so nostalgic that it's going to live on forever. Thanks to everyone that's been involved with it.
And thanks to Peter Robbins, thanks to Charles Schulz. And
yeah. And if you find yourself getting into fights with a lot of people, maybe there's something going on. So you should get it checked out. Talk to somebody.
Definitely.
Don't rip your life apart because you might have something going on that you're not realizing.
And do not buy breast implants
for anyone else but yourself.
to impress somebody.
Yeah, no, because they might, before they're even done with anesthesia, they're dropping you.
And you're saying, good grief.
Good grief. Ugh. You hear that?
You've got mail.
It's not Santa's sleigh. It's a mailbag.
All right, Kyle, what do we got this week?
We have a very heartwarming text that we got from Waco, Texas.
Hello, Waco.
It's also pretty warm down there because it's on fire.
Haven't thought of Waco since the Koresh situation.
Branch Davidians got set on fire.
Hope y'all are doing well and staying cool.
Yes, we had someone write in that said, I just started recently watching and listening while I do my 10-hour shifts here at Amazon, and I love the three of you so much. Thank you for the hilarious times and well-researched information. Have a great day. With a heart.
Oh,
wow.
My heart is full hearing that.
My heart is warmed.
Yes.
From the flames of the Branch Davidians compound. And that message, that was very nice. Thank you so much. And yeah, we hope you guys have a happy holiday. Make sure you check us out on YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, wherever you get your podcasts. Check out our patreon.com/deathandentertainment. $5 or $10 a month keeps the lights on. We got a lot of content that we just uploaded, and there will be a ton more next year.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. And with that, any other parting words for the year?
Happy holidays, and please do not go dying on us.
Do not do that.
Bye.
Bye.
You have just heard
A true Hollywood murder mystery.
I have never seen anything like this before.
The movies, Broadway, music, television, all of it.
A place that manufactures
Nightmares.
Okay, everybody, that's a wrap.
Good night. Please drive home carefully and come back again soon.